Peace and love, black family. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. UMAR Johnson. I'm coming to you live and direct, Motown City, Detroit, Michigan, stand up. The occasion of my visit to Detroit this week is due to the fact that tomorrow and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, June 9th and 10th, here in Detroit, we will be celebrating, or we will be conducting, the 4th Midwest Regional National Independent Black Parent Association Leadership Training Conference. If any of you are interested in being a part of the leadership of a chapter of the National Independent Black Parent Association, you need to get to Detroit tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. and again on Saturday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. On Saturday, we will be going to the Motown Museum for a special private tour. The Motown Museum, a place that I think everyone needs to visit. When I first visited Berry Gordy's Motown Museum, it reminded me so much of the life and works of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I am not equating Berry Gordy at all with Marcus Garvey or any of our great leaders, but the work that was done in Hitsville, USA. To see it, the first thing that entered my mind was whether or not Berry Gordy's parents were influenced by Marcus Garvey. We know that Detroit was a very strong and serious Marcus Garvey city. We know that the organizer of the Detroit chapter, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey's personal traveling secretary, and he was also one-time, what is the position called, auditor for the UNIA. He was the Auditor General of the UNIA, an ancestor by the name of Papa Charles Zamte, who also recruited into the UNIA a brother by the name of Elijah Poole, who went on to become the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and start the Nation of Islam, was from Detroit. So I think, and I don't know, the research has to be done, but I think that Berry Gordy's family was influenced by Marcus Garvey, because when you go to the Motown Museum on Saturday with us, and you can only come if you attend the conference, you're going to see a very self-reliant, self-determined Marcus Garvey energy flowing through Hitsville, USA, the Motown factory. That is not to dismiss some of the other things that may have happened, but we're speaking to the brilliance of Berry Gordy and the Garvey type manner in which he built Motown, probably the most successful independent black record label in world history. This live feed today is a very important one. It's very important because we need to have a conversation. Something is getting out of control. Something is getting out of control. Now, I want to be clear. Today, I don't want to debate whether or not you think homosexuality is right or wrong, good or bad. You all know my position on same-sex relationships. I don't support them. Okay? I love all African people. I have no hate or disdain for none. But I don't support same-sex relationship. I believe man should be with woman and woman should be with man. That comes from my understanding, and that comes from my immersion in traditional African spiritual culture and ethics. So we're not talking about whether or not you are pro-gay or no gay. That's not the issue. But a friend of mine sent me an article today out of Dallas, Texas, where the upcoming Juneteenth celebration, a celebration that was started back on June 19th, 1865, to honor the emancipation and liberation of African people from the most dehumanizing, unnatural disaster in human history, American chattel slavery. The Juneteenth celebration grew out of our freedom from racial oppression. We've been celebrating it now for 152, 53 years. But for this year, 2017, and I will be keynoting Juneteenth in Seattle. I will be keynoting Juneteenth in Seattle. So if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you need to come out to Seattle to see the Prince of Pan-Africanism next Saturday, June 17th. I will be the keynote for Seattle's Juneteenth celebration. Make sure you are there. And on Wednesday, the 14th of June, I will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the keynote lecture there at the Capri Theater, 6 o'clock, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Wednesday, June the 14th. But I want to read this article so we can put our conversation in context. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. In this conversation we're about to have is over whether or not it is appropriate for the black LBGT army. Is it appropriate for the gay mafia, the black gay mafia, to invade and infiltrate? What up, Baba? I'm good. I'm good. We straight for the interview tonight? I need you to text me the address because I forgot it. My phone cleared out, and I'm gonna hit you back in about an hour. Okay, but hit me with that address now so I have it. Okay, Bob. All right now. Peace and love. Detroit, make sure you're tuned in to Channel 33. The Prince of Pan-Africanism will be live on the Get Up Stand Up show with Minister Malik Shabazz. That's today, 6 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time out of Detroit, Channel 33. If you don't live in Detroit, you can still watch it by going onto the internet. Look up the Get Up Stand Up show, Detroit, Channel 33. It's public TV, WHPPR or something like that, and you can watch it. Okay, now, the gay pride movement has been invading every black traditional political celebration, every black traditional spiritual celebration, every black traditional cultural celebration. Anytime black people say we're going to celebrate our ancestors, we're going to celebrate civil rights, we're going to celebrate the end of slavery, the black gay movement comes in and says you have to celebrate homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism, bisexuality. Okay? And remember, we're not dealing with whether you agree with it or not. The question is it appropriate for every movement, every celebration we have to honor the black legacy, the black experience, black freedom, and black life? Is it acceptable to have it co-opted by homosexuality? In other words, when we're celebrating something that had nothing to do with gay life, when we're celebrating something that has something to do with black existence, African people, is it acceptable for the homosexual movement to come in and say, since you're celebrating anything, you have to celebrate everything? Since you're celebrating anything, you have to celebrate everything. Okay? And I want to know what y'all think. Give me your comments. I'm going to be reading some comments. And if you're homosexual, I want to hear from you too. If you homosexual, if you lesbian, if you transgendered, if you bisexual, metrosexual, promosexual, protosexual, part-time bisexual, whatever you into, we want to hear about it. Okay? And I'm going to be reading some comments. But I want to read the article. I want to read the article. This is from DallasSouthernPride.com. Dallas Southern Pride. Shout out to my Dallas family. I will be in Houston for Kwanzaa. Houston, Kwanzaa, the Saturday of Kwanzaa. Prince of Pan-Africanism will be in Houston at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Tickets will go on sale soon. For my Brooklyn, New York family, I'm going to put up the new ticket link. Unfortunately, I had to postpone the lecture last Friday. Security went missing on me. That's all right. We got a different security team now. I will be back in Brooklyn Friday, June 30th. Prince of Pan-Africanism, Friday, June 30th, Brooklyn, New York, same place, Brown Memorial Baptist Church, same time, 6 o'clock, doors open up at 2. Okay? We were just going to do it for the ticket holders, but I got a lot of requests. I want to come, Doc. Don't limit it. We got to show love to the whole family. We got to show love to the whole family. So the new ticket link for Brooklyn, June 30th, will be up soon at princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. Let me read the article. Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the ending of slavery in the United States. Going all the way back to 1865, June 19th was the day the Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas with news that the war had ended and that all those enslaved were now free. This announcement came 2.5 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was signed and ended slavery in the United States, which had become official January the 1st, 1863. That's not true, but for the sake of conversation, I'll continue. The Emancipation Proclamation only freed slaves that were in states that were in armed rebellion. Delaware was a slave state. Abraham Lincoln didn't free a single slave. St. Louis was a border state with the Union. Abraham Lincoln didn't free a single slave. Maryland was a border state with the Union. Abraham Lincoln didn't free a single slave. In fact, Harriet Tubman, Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, refused to attend an Emancipation Proclamation celebration because she said it did not apply to her family who were still enslaved in Maryland. So first of all, when we write these articles, we need to make sure we are historically accurate when we write these articles. Okay, so that's part of this issue. Okay, that's part of this issue. But let me keep on going. Okay. There are many stories on why the news arrived late. I'm going to skip to some of this. Okay, let me skip. Y'all ready? I hope y'all listening. And y'all can read it yourself. Okay, listen to this. One of the things often forgotten is that in the fields working side by side, in the cotton fields, working side by side, were both straight and gay men and lesbian women. Let me say this again. I'm reading the article. One of the things often forgotten is that in the fields working side by side were both straight and gay men and lesbian women, those who loved each other silently and openly. Okay? There are some who want to believe homosexuality just popped onto the scene as if it were something in the water, without recognizing who and what we are as same gender loving men and women goes far back beyond slavery. We were not only on the slave ships, but we were also in the dynasties and kingdoms that ruled Africa. Okay, hold on, let me get this right. Where we at? We were also in the dynasties and kingdoms that ruled Africa in Zulu, Cleopatra, and the Mansa Musa era. Shaka Zulu. Let me get this right. And I've been to Zulu land multiple times. I've been to Shaka Zulu's gravesite multiple times. I've studied Shaka Zulu. Who believes that Shaka Kasensuka Zulu, the most alpha male of alpha men, who believes that Shaka Kasensuka Zulu, the most alpha male of alpha men, practiced, tolerated, or legitimized same-sex relationships between men? Who believes that? But according to this article, homosexuality was practiced amongst Shaka's kingdom. Mansa Musa, who was a Muslim. Homosexuality is not acceptable in Islam. So you think an African Muslim leader in a traditionally African Muslim kingdom is going to allow same-sex relationship? But let me go on, because this is not about whether it's right or wrong. This is not about whether it's right or wrong. So we don't want to do too much of that. Okay? We have to tell our story and be clear about not allowing conversations around Black history to erase or neglect to include our story. The 2017 Dallas Southern Pride Juneteenth Festival. Did y'all hear that? You got to pay attention to the words. You got to pay attention to the words. You got to pay attention to the words. The 2017 Dallas Southern Pride Juneteenth Festival. Now, when you hear Southern Pride, you think Southern Black Pride. Pride is the new word. The LGBT movement has colonized the word pride, like European Jews have colonized the word Holocaust. So when you hear Holocaust, you only think about the European Jewish Holocaust suffered at the hands of Adolf Hitler, which we condemn and deplore because it was wrong and unacceptable. Let's be clear. But that doesn't erase the fact that European Jewry has colonized the word Holocaust. In other words, socially, you're made to feel that the only people who are allowed to talk about a Holocaust are European Jews. Okay? The LGBT movement has colonized the word pride. The LGBT movement has colonized the word pride. Yes. So whenever you use the word pride now, you have to be very careful, because if you don't clarify what you mean by pride, it'll automatically be assumed that you're talking about some form of gay pride. And if you're gay and you're trying to be subversive in your strategy, you will put pride in, and all the Black conscious people that think you're talking about Black pride. But the truth of the matter is you're talking about the gay pride. Okay? So they changed the name of the celebration. It is now the 2017 Dallas Southern Pride, which means gay. Southern Pride Juneteenth Festival will bring together brothers and sisters and transgenders. Brothers and sisters and transgenders to celebrate our freedom, not only from slavery, but from within our own community, including churches and institutions that would rather wish our existence away. It takes all of us to see that the village, is, and I apologize, it's cut off. It takes all of us to see that the village is something and access the strength that lies within us. There will be no village if we don't make no children. There will be no village if we don't make any children. There will be no village if we don't make any children. So how y'all going to say y'all part of the village? Y'all killing the damn village. Won't be no village if all the women keep dating the women and the men keep on dating the men. That's the point that I'm making. We have to liberate ourselves from actions, words, and deeds that would do us harm. We have to reach down and grab the genius from within. It is in every brother, sister, and transgender person we see, because they were born. They were born makes them worthy of human kindness, as some typos. Let us not abandon the kindness for the small-minded of those who use hurtful words. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the descendants of the strongest slaves that touched North American soil. We cannot allow hate, AIDS, obesity, racism, sexism, or any other disease to act to end our existence and cut us short from our journey. Join us in Dallas, Texas, June 15th through the 18th to not only share and learning history, but make history. I'm speechless. This article just said that there were homosexual men, black men in love with each other on the slave plantations. There were black men in love with each other and who made love to each other during slavery. So let me get this right. Black men could barely get time to spend with their wife and children. Black men were often enslaved miles away from the women and children. They kept the women and the men separate. So you mean to tell me that he couldn't get to his woman, so he in turn started sexing another man? See, a part of this is this millennial consciousness. I'm going to have a conference with the millennials. We're going to have a black millennial conference because y'all messing the whole game up. The millennials in this social network selfie generation is messing the whole game up. We got to put it into this shit. We gotta do something about this. But the question that I'm asking, brothers and sisters, the question that's being asked, even if you support LBGTism, that's not my question. I'm not asking you, is it in the best interest of the black community? We've already talked about that. That's not the question today. The question is it fair that every time we want to celebrate something from the African experience, is it fair that every time we want to celebrate something from the black experience, that we have to make room or we have to integrate homosexual consciousness? That's all I'm asking. I think it's disrespectful. Look, I think it's disrespectful for white folks to tell black people, why don't all lives matter? Why is it just black lives that matter? That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. We never said all lives don't matter. Okay? We never said all lives don't matter, but we're saying black lives matter because every life tends to matter except ours. They're not systematically killing Chinese Americans. Police are not systematically killing East Indian Americans. Police are not systematically killing Native Americans. Police are not systematically killing Jewish Americans. Police are not systematically killing Arab Americans. Police are systematically killing African Americans. So when we say Black Lives Matter, we're saying we're going to put attention on ourselves unapologetically. We're going to put attention on ourselves unapologetically because we are not given the same type of protection under the law as everyone else. See, when y'all say all lives matter, when y'all say all lives matter, when y'all say all lives matter, what you're really saying is we don't care about the black lives that were taken. That's all that is. All lives matter is a code word. When they say all lives matter, what they really saying is all lives that ain't black matters. That's what that means. All lives that ain't black matter. All lives matter says we don't give a shit when your children die. All lives matter says we don't care about Sandra Bland. All lives matter, we don't care about Trayvon. All lives matter, we don't care about Eric Gardner and Philando Castile or Tamir Rice. All lives matter means we don't care about black folks. That's what all lives matter. Okay? So, what I'm asking the homosexual family, do you not feel that it's a little bit disrespectful to force celebration of your lifestyle, to force celebration of your lifestyle in the framework of a celebration that's been going on for over 150 years, that has been totally focused on venerating African life? A celebration for 150 that has only been about recognizing the pain and struggle of Africans as a result of racial slavery. Racial slavery. See, and I've never advocated harm against any homosexual, and I never will. I've never said you should be hurt. I've never said you shouldn't have a right to live, decent health care, never. I've never said that. You like to misrepresent me because one of your strategies is to make anybody who disagrees with you look like they are a perpetrator of harm. That's one of your strategies. Anyone who disagrees with homosexuality is painted a certain way and projected as if we are a purveyor of death and genocide, even though we've never said that. Okay? I feel it's just like it's disrespectful to say all lives matter. It's disrespectful to say you can't talk about black pride without talking about black gay pride. That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. First of all, it's divisionary. You know how we say leave religion out the conversation? You know how we say leave religion out the conversation? Not only should we leave religion out the conversation, but when it comes to celebrating African reality, we should leave sexual identity out the conversation. If we coming together to celebrate our ancestors, leave that gay stuff out. It's about our ancestors. Why you got to come in and enforce this? If it's about slavery, why can't we just focus on why you got to come in and enforce this? There was lesbian women in love with each other on the plantations. Can I ask for some proof? Can you show me some proof of gay women on the plantations? Except for the fact that they were being raped by the white slave master's wife. Can you show me proof of gay black men on the plantation except for the fact that they were being raped by their slave masters? Can you show me that? You said there was homosexuals in the leadership of Nile Valley culture? Can you please name a homosexual pharaoh? Don't make history, prove history. Show me a homosexual pharaoh. I just think it's wrong. Listen, I don't support the lifestyle, but if homosexuals want to have a pride parade, ain't nothing I can do about it. It's the United States of America. You understand? I'm not going to come out against it. It's not me. As long as it's not interfering with what I'm trying to do, I'm not going to bother it. I do not go around looking for gay issues to poke at. In fact, the only time I bring this stuff up is when y'all bring it to me. That's the only time I bring it up, when it's brought to me. My agenda is liberating African people through helping our children. The gay agenda is not my priority. But because I am a lover of the ancestors and a lover of our people, and I don't want to see their legacies tarnished, when I see gay revisionist history, when I see black gay revisionist history, when I see black homosexual brothers and black lesbian sisters write articles saying that there was gay men in love with each other picking cotton, there was gay women in love, gay black women in love with each other on the plantations, when I hear black gay revisionist history saying that there was homosexuals in Shaka Zulu's kingdom, and there was homosexuals in Mansa Musa's kingdom, and there was homosexuals in the leadership of Nile Valley culture, I gotta speak out against that, because now you infiltrating my legacy. I'm not gonna mess with your legacy, but don't infiltrate mine. I'm not gonna accept black gay revisionist history no more than I'm gonna accept white racist revisionist history. I said I'm not gonna accept black gay revisionist history no more than I'm gonna accept white racist revisionist history. Don't insult the ancestors, brothers and sisters. Yes, we've had homosexuals. Yes. A. Philip Randolph. Yes. James Baldwin. Yes. We've had them. Yes. We have. And if y'all feel that y'all need to celebrate their sexuality apart from black pride, do that. Do that. But don't come to the black pride celebration and try to conquer it and take it over and colonize it with issues surrounding sexuality. That's all. I don't hate none of y'all. Y'all family. I love y'all. But we got to draw some lines. This shit getting out of hand. So 2017 Juneteenth, this year is going to be the first year where Juneteenth across the country is going to be infiltrated by the LBGT. This year, all across America, you're not going to see Juneteenth focus on black power and black pride and freedom from slavery and 152. It's not going to be. They're bringing the rainbow flag. They're bringing the rainbow flag. So now it's going to go away from black life and it's going to be gay life. Let me see what's going on with the comments. What do y'all think? Should every black seller, should Juneteenth allow for homosexual pride celebration integration? Should homosexual pride be integrated into a traditionally black celebration based on our freedom from the greatest unnatural disaster in human history? Juneteenth is about celebrating our freedom from the greatest man-made unnatural disaster in human history. Why do you feel the need to pollute that? That's disrespect. This is sacred. Juneteenth is sacred. But you want to come in and distort the focus with sexual politics. If I'm wrong, if y'all feel I'm wrong, you can say that. If you disagree, I'm not changing my position. I'm unapologetically African. But if you disagree, you can. I'm not going to delete you. I only delete disrespect. But if you disagree, Dr. Umar, I disagree. I think the gays should be celebrated too. Even though Juneteenth had nothing to do with gays. Juneteenth was about blackness, not sex. Juneteenth was about blackness, not sex. Juneteenth was about African life, not sex. I still feel they should be able to integrate their agenda. Sister Sophia said no, and I feel we shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth either. Okay, Sister Sophia, we shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth. I don't know if that has something to do with your Islamic persuasion, but one of the things, and I can say this having been raised a Muslim, and I respect Islam, beautiful religion, Ramadan Mubarak to my Muslim brothers and sisters. I will always consider myself a member of that community. I still pray pretty much the way I prayed as a Muslim, although I've Africanized it now because I know my culture. But one of the issues I've always had being raised Muslim is the fact that the masjid never really honored the African contribution to civilization. And it was such a contradiction because we would always say that there's no place for race and culture within Islam, but we spend our whole life imitating Arabs. We want to teach Arab language. We want to dress like Arabs. We want to send our kids to Arab schools. So how is it that in Islam, my Sunni brothers and sisters, not to get off topic, but how is it there's no room to celebrate African culture? There's no room to celebrate African life and African spirituality. You know, y'all never want to. I've never heard about the mosque on Black history events, but it's okay to study Arabic all day long. It's okay to move to Iraq, and it's okay to move to Pakistan and spend 20 years dressing up like an Arab and learning how to talk like an Arab and eating like an Arab. But it's okay to imitate Arab culture, but it's not okay to practice your own. I'm sorry. You will never get me to believe, and I respect the religion. It's beautiful. I still go to masjids now. If I get an opportunity to go to a masjid and make salat, I'm going to go in there and offer 2 rakats. Yes, I would. A lot y'all don't know about me. But there's no way you're going to get me to think that supreme consciousness, the one almighty God of the universe, there's no way you're going to get me to believe that my God wants me to practice another man's culture in order to serve him. There's no way you can get me to believe There's no way you can get me to believe that my Lord wants me to practice another man's culture, to learn another man's language in order to serve supreme consciousness. There's no way you get me to believe that. And that's where me and the Sunni Muslim community, that's where we're going to have to respectfully disagree with each other. There is no greater form of cultural imperialism. There is no greater form of cultural imperialism than to tell a people, you got to study your religion in my language. Do you see how powerful that is? Listen, that's like the white man saying you got to worship Jesus in his image. The white man says you have to worship Jesus in his image. The Arab comes along and says you have to study religion in his language. What's the difference? What's the difference? The white man saying you got to worship God in his image. The Arab saying you have to study your religion, study your God in his language. What's the difference? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not praying to God in the white man's image, and I'm not studying God in the Arab's language. I'm going to be unapologetically African today. I'm going to be unapologetically African tomorrow, and I'm going to be unapologetically African until the day that I die. What is my religion? You want to know what my religion is? My religion is Black African liberation. That's my religion. My religion is Black African liberation. That's my religion. My religion is Black African liberation. So if that ain't your religion, if that ain't your religion, if your Jesus ain't about Black African liberation, if your Muhammad ain't about Black African liberation, okay? If your Elohim, if your Yahweh, if your Jehovah is not about Black African liberation, I don't want none of it. How can religions founded by Black men be so anti-African? How can religions founded by Black men be so anti-African? So I just needed to say something about this. I don't like Juneteenth being co-opted by homosexuality. See, the Black church has already been taken over by the LBGT. The Black church, they're scared. They're scared. They're scared. They're never going to speak out against it. You got a few churches, but most churches are done. They're done. NAACP, done. Urban League, done. Black fraternities and sororities, all of you have given in. All of you have given in to the gay movement. Okay? We have very few organizations who are willing to say we don't agree. Not that we dislike, not that we hate. We don't teach hate. It's not about hate. But we got to have conversations as family. We got to have a dialogue. We have to reason with each other. See, the problem is we got some of us who think that the only way we can solve our problems is to argue and debate all damn day. Some of us believe the only way we can get through this is with conflict. And then we got others of us who believe that it's okay to disagree without being disagreeable. I'm going to tell you what I'm willing to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm willing to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm willing to do. I want to host, and this is a direct, it ain't no challenge because ain't nobody going to war with each other. We family. It ain't no challenge because ain't nobody going to war with each other. We family. But I want some of the leaders of the Black. I don't want no white folks. This ain't got nothing to do with them. This ain't got nothing to do with them. This is about us. But I would like to have a series of town hall meetings. Let's do one in the East. Let's do one in the Mid-Atlantic. Let's do a Southeast. Let's do a Midwest. Let's do a Pacific Northwest. And let's do a Southwest. Let's do about 6 community town hall meetings. Respectful. No cursing, no arguing, no accusation. About the heterosexual, homosexual divide over how we need to proceed on issues of black power politics. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think? I think it's overtime. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? No, I don't want this to be, no. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? They can be free. They can be free. Okay, what do y'all think? Is it time, brothers and sisters? Is it time? Okay, is it time? I mean, so for the homosexual community, I am issuing a respectable to the black LBGTQI. To the black LBGTQI. I am issuing a respectable request for a series of town hall meetings to discuss the divide between the heterosexual, which I represent, and the homosexual communities over the way forward for black power. We may not come to a conclusion or agreement, but I think the dialogue can be healthy. I'm a psychologist. We believe about dialogue. Process is progress. Process is progress. Process is progress. I mean, y'all been condemning me for years. Y'all been ridiculing me for years. Y'all been trying to get my events canceled for years because I don't support your behavior. I don't know what your behavior got to do with me helping black people. That's where that narcissism comes in. That's where your narcissism comes in. If he don't agree with me, he don't have a right to breathe. That's some European shit you need to get over. But I'm willing to have this conversation. And I'm going to put a limit on it. What's today's date? We're going to put a limit on this because y'all not going to play games with me. Today is June the 8th. June the 8th. I'm going to give y'all 2 weeks. By June the 22nd, that's the deadline. June the 22nd. Better yet, my Breakfast Club interview was on June the 21st. So yeah, I give you the June 22nd. And let's do this for the community. Okay? We'll have security there, nothing to worry about, water. It's going to be a very respectable, we're going to hear from those in the heterosexual community who don't agree and are not looking for the collaboration. We're going to hear from those in the homosexual community who at one time says their sexual identity should not matter, but then every other time wants to force their sexual identity into the conversation. So there's a contradiction because on the one hand, you say my sexual identity shouldn't matter. Why y'all paying so much attention to my identity? And then the very next breath, you're forcing your identity down everyone's throat. So that's a contradiction. That's like saying the fact that I'm a Pan-Africanist shouldn't matter. But soon when I show up, all I want to talk about is Pan-Africanism. Well, if it don't matter, why you keep forcing it to the forefront of the conversation? So, no, it's not going to be a showdown, brothers and sisters. We're not looking for conflict. We're not looking for conflict. We're not looking for conflict. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do conflict. I don't do debates. I'm not into that. I'm looking for articulate, grassroots based. Don't bring me no bougie homosexuals. I don't want bougie homosexuals. Bring the grassroots gays. We want the ones in the street with the boots and the Timbs, the Black Lives Matter gays. Bring those. That's who I want. I want grassroots gays. We at least have to be on the same we have to be on the same spectrum as it relates to political and community. Don't bring me no bougie gays. Bring me grassroots LBGT. Okay? And I'm going to come with my grassroots, unapologetically African squad. And we're going to have it's not a debate. We're going to have a conversation, and then it gets opened up to the audience, and the audience will be allowed to conversate. Now, I'm going to tell you my biggest concern. Do y'all want to know what my biggest concern is? It's not the panel. My biggest concern is not the panel. I'm going to tell y'all my biggest concern. Y'all want to know what my biggest concern is? Some of y'all probably already know what I'm going to say. Some of y'all probably already know what I'm going to say. I have two big concerns. Okay? My first concern is infiltration by the FBI and the CIA. Remember what they did with Dr. King's sanitation workers march in Memphis, right? They sent paid agitators to turn the march into a riot. I'm concerned that the FBI will send paid agitators into this community seminar, community town hall meeting, to try to provoke violence and agitation. So COINTELPRO, I'm concerned about that. So we're going to have security volunteers from all New Black Panther Party security, different organizations. Okay. So that's one concern. COINTELPRO. Okay. Why would the FBI do that? That's a ridiculous question. The reason the FBI would do that, sister, is they want to destroy anything that they consider to be progressive. Listen, even if we decided that we were not going to fight each other, I'm cool with that. I don't fight the gays anyway. They fight me. But if we could just say, let them struggle how they want to struggle and we're not going to attack, which I don't anyway. If the homosexuals said, listen, we're going to leave Dr. Umar alone. He ain't disrespected us. And as long as he don't disrespect us, let him do his work. We ain't going to bother him. And he going to let us do our work. And he ain't going to bother us. That's a respect. That's a respect. That right there would be a monumental breakthrough. Because y'all be blocking me every chance y'all get. That right there would be a monumental breakthrough. But even if we didn't get that far, the conversation alone, the process would be progress. But my biggest concern is the audience's behavior. My biggest concern is the audience's behavior. The one reason why we probably couldn't do this. I hear you, Brother Sean. I'm long-winded. I'm a teacher. I'm a preacher. You're welcome to leave the live feed, my brother. You're welcome to leave the live feed. Okay? I'm not going to assume that was disrespectful. You're welcome to leave the live feed. Now, you spent 3 hours last night watching Golden State in Cleveland. See, so that just shows you how much of a priority we are in our own lives. We'll spend 3 hours watching the NBA Finals. White business. We'll spend 2 hours watching post reviews and interviews on Sports Center. White business. You was up this morning watching it at your job on YouTube, seeing what Stephen A. Smith and the others had to say. But when it comes to black issues and black life and black progress, you're taking too long. But my biggest issue would be audience behavior. If we're going to do this, family, if we're going to do this, the heterosexuals cannot disrespect the homosexuals in the audience. Ain't no name calling, ain't no disrespectful statement, ain't no underhanded verbal jabs. Because, I mean, let's be honest, we're known for self-destruction. We got enough self-hate as it is. So you're bringing heterosexuals and homosexuals together in the same space who don't agree with each other. I'm not worried about the panel. We're going to be fine on stage. I don't worry about you Negroes out in the audience. I don't need a homosexual saying something to a heterosexual. I don't need no transgender saying some smart mouth shit to one of the alpha males. I don't need one of the alpha males calling one of the bisexuals out of name. We don't need that. So my biggest concern is whether or not y'all can control yourselves. Can y'all control yourselves? That's my issue. Because this is a conversation that needs to happen, and I'm willing to take the lead. It's time. We need a conversation that is not going to be sanitized by the Urban League or sanitized by the NAACP or hosted by the Black Greeks. We need, and that's no disrespect, we love them all, but we need a conversation where people can say what they need to say in a respectful way without being silenced by anybody. By anybody. Okay? So that's the issue, brothers and sisters. So I just wanted to hit y'all with that, you know, but the bottom line is we should not be allowing our sacred holidays and cultural celebrations to be co-opted by anybody at any time for any reason, whether it involves sexuality, politics, or anything else. Juneteenth is about African life. It is not about gay sex. Juneteenth is about African life. It is not about gay sex. So on that note, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go ahead and jump off. I'm hungry. I need to find something to eat. And then get ready for my interview tonight. Hopefully I see some of y'all tomorrow at the conference here in Detroit, National Independent Black Parent Association Leadership Training Conference. Friday and Saturday, 9 to 6. Let's come together, unite, organize, and do what's right. One love.